Okay, well, it's been about 3 months since I've posted a video because apparently you have to act like a comedian, or you have to basically be disabled or have some kind of special status in society in order to be able to speak your mind on some of these social media sites. Because I was struck twice. Basically, if I was to post anything else that was derogatory within the next 3 months, they would take down my channel. So, and I choose not to act like a comedian, like you can see on the other, channels on this particular social media platform. As long as you act stupid and claim that you're a comedian, then you can go ahead and say things that other people who are actually just regular citizens of the country, you can go ahead and say things that they can't say. So I'm going to go ahead and start up from where I was, and I'm going to try to talk about the things that were struck down, but I have to use very, very plain language, and you're going to have to read between the lines on what I'm talking about, because like I said, this country has changed, and we are living in the Borg mentality. And I have been listening a lot to a particular channel called the Academy of Ideas. If you haven't already gone to that channel, I wish I was more educated. I wish I did have speaking skills and that I had the ability to maybe be a comedian and to get across my message other than just plain layman terms. But that's the majority of the people you talk to are laymen, right? They're regular people who don't have special social skills. They're people you see at church, they're people you see at work. And so, it's too bad that the mass majority of us are not allowed to speak. We're supposed to be censored because of what we say might rally up all the other layman people in the world, and we might have a problem. But anyway, there's a lot of things I want to still discuss about what's going on in the world, but I have to be really careful on how I say it. And I'm just basically posting this now just to say, hey, I'm back, and hopefully, I'll be able to speak, because someone might strike this video down just because I said something. I had no idea that I was so important. I had no idea that I had so much clout that someone who only gets like 5 or 6 views on my channel, per video, it's such a big deal. We got to shut this down. I didn't realize I was so dangerous. That I was such a dangerous person. I was raised as a Boy Scout. I was raised to go to hardcore Mormon church and to go to foreign countries and to save souls. And here I am. I'm being treated as if I'm the devil in this country. And I've never been in trouble with the law. I've never been arrested. I've had, I think, 2 speeding tickets in the last 35 years of driving, and that's it. But yet I cannot speak because I am such a horrible and evil person. Yeah, and the sad thing I'm not. I'm a stalwart citizen. I am as perfection can get. I had talked about this on one of my previous videos that was struck down. But I'll give you some examples of how great I am as an individual, because like I said, I'm being turned into a narcissist because of how wicked and evil this world has come. That the difference between me and the other person who I'm usually associating with in my day-to-day, I didn't realize I was like Jesus. Okay, so for instance, when I was a kid, I was in a locker room, and back in those days, it was the middle school locker room, and we had to dress down and take showers back in those days. And nowadays, you can't do that because it's considered, inappropriate because of all the perverts that we have in the world that we don't do anything to, right? We have to try to rehabilitate these freaks, and instead of actually maybe getting rid of them and separating them from society and put them in a jail cell like I should be in right now, right? Because I'm such a good person and the world is so evil. I'm so different from everyone else that I probably should be in jail now. But back in those days, we wouldn't do anything. We'd just let them roam around. and molest kids. But anyway, so to move on, I was in the locker room and with my fellow classmates, and somebody basically, people were being too loud, and the coach was upset. He comes outside. He says, "You guys need to be quiet. You guys are making too much noise. You know, you guys sound like a bunch of animals or something." And so he goes back in his office, and well, guess what? Everyone starts yelling and screaming and acting like, you know, like animals again, like monkeys. And I was like really shy in middle school. I had just moved to this area, and I was one of the shy kids. I had glasses, I had braces. You know, I was that nerdy kid. He was that Mormon boy who was working on his scouting program and had all these merit badges like duty to God and citizen of the nation, citizen of the of your community, and all these things that I was raised with. That kids today have no idea what it's like and what they need to do as a citizen. We don't teach that anymore. Now what we do is we teach people to be, dirty and freaking disrespectful. Learn to hate the country. Learn to hate everything about this country and what our founding fathers did to provide this prosperity that spread across the entire planet. Okay? We don't teach those kids anymore. Now what we do is we prop up bad lives, right? Because bad lives matter more than good lives. And so now what we do is we lowered the bar for everybody else, so that way we can allow people who are actually need to be taught the citizenship awards in the scouting program. Need to be taught how to be respectful and how to be, how to add to the communities. Instead of taking away from the communities, like burning down buildings and burning cars and rioting like monkeys. But anyway, so back to what I was talking about. So the coach comes out and he basically tells everyone to come over by the office. And he says, okay, I want everyone to give me, 15 push-ups. Okay, because you guys are being too loud. And then as we're doing the push-ups, he's telling us about how, we're being too rowdy and, acting too much like animals, and that we need to be more respectful of others and, not be so noisy. And, and I'm thinking to myself, all these people around, a lot of them, not everybody, there was other people there that weren't making a lot of noise. But you had your regulars, right? Your regular people that always are rowdy, the people that and the teachers should know who are the troublemakers. Well, anyway, so after we're done doing our 15 push-ups, he then says to everybody, he goes, okay, so who here wasn't talking? Okay? And guess what? I rose my hand because I wasn't talking. And you know what he did? I wasn't the only one. There's some other people who were lying. Okay? People who are so obvious. And they're the kids in the class that always cause problems. And they rose their hands too. And you know what the coach did? The coach said, okay, everyone who didn't raise their hands, you can go. Everyone who rose their hands, you have to stay here and give me 15 more push-ups. So there I was doing push-ups with the slackers of the locker room, right? The ones who were liars. I was the honest, quiet kid stuck doing push-ups with the slacktards of our class. Okay? And that's what's going on in this country, right? I'm being ostracized and treated as if I'm an evil person because I have morals and I have standards and I'm a good person. And yet the rest of the world has gone so far the other way, they look at me as a threat, that I'm an evil person. It's like Superman, right? Superman, he was such a good person that the world ended up getting to where they didn't like him anymore because he was too good. And that's what I'm starting to feel like here in this world. Okay, so I've mentioned it many times in these videos that I was raised hardcore Mormon. I was that family that did everything right. That the family, you had a lot of different Mormons, but we were the ones that were like, many generations Mormon. Like we're talking, if you followed it back far enough, one of us probably came from Joseph Smith, right? Or Brigham Young. So anyway, and so I would sit in priest quorum, okay? So we were all about, 16, 17 years old, around there, if I remember right. And I remember sitting in that class with my fellow, adolescents And we were all sitting there being taught about, Jesus and God and Joseph Smith and all the teachings of the Book of Mormon. And I remember there was this one particular day where the teacher of the class looks at me and goes, "You know what, Mason?" He goes, I wish that my son was like you. And in front of all of my peers, right? And then he goes ahead and says, because you're always such a leader, you're so reverent in church, and you're always a good example. And I wish my son, his future son, I should say, because he was a younger guy, and he had just had a little baby and stuff. And he's like, I hope he's just like you. And this is in front of all my peers. Okay? I mean, how often? And he wasn't saying that to be a smartass, right? Okay, so like I said, I used to work for this fascist place. Okay? I worked there for 10 years. I had one write-up. Okay? Up until I had to quit, right? Because they gave me a write-up because I called the rioters in Seattle monkeys. Okay? I got written up. So technically I've had 2 write-ups in the 10 years that I worked there. But that last write-up is when I realized that I didn't belong with those people anymore. They supported BLM, Bad Lives Matter, right? They supported the riots in Seattle. They basically said, no, we can't have you in our workplace. If you support good, we only support bad lives. So therefore, we're going to send you on suspension. Well, when I got back, I was so disgruntled with working at that place that I ended up putting my 2-week notice in, and I got the heck out of there, man. Because I do not belong with people who support the evil that is going on in this world today. But anyways. Yeah, and so you know what the one write-up I had was? The one write-up I had was because I used the wrong quality of an ingredient in the product that we were making. Okay, it was too high of a quality. And you know why I got the write-up? Because I told them that I had used the wrong ingredient. Okay? They had no idea because it wouldn't have gone... No one would have known because it was a flavor ingredient. And it was a higher quality ingredient. And the product was sent through. They didn't even put it on hold. They went ahead and sent it. Okay? So I ended up getting a write-up because I admitted that I had made a mistake. Okay? Yeah, that's the kind of person I am. You don't find that many people. I was stupid for even saying anything, I guess. But what I'm saying is when you're an honest person, that's not good in this society. Okay? You're supposed to be a liar. You're supposed to be into politics. You're supposed to, sneak around. And I think that's one of the reasons why my channel gets attacked all the time. And that's why I don't allow comments on my channel. Because so many of you out there right now are so screwed up in the head that my generation that I grew up with, the Generation X, you guys are screwed, man. I spent so many years of my youth working with my grandfather, who was World War II. Okay, he was the greatest generation that ever lived. And a lot of my values I got from my grandfather. A lot of my values I got from being very religious. Okay? But today, I don't even go to church anymore. Okay? I took the things that I learned from being religious and kept the good things and got rid of the bad things, like being racist. That's a bad thing. And unfortunately, many religions are extremely racist, especially Mormons. Okay? So, that's what I'm saying is the Borg mentality now has changed so much that good, honest, hard-working people are given the shaft in this society now. If you're honest, you're in trouble. You're expected to pick up the work from other people who aren't honest with their daily work. Yeah, and let's continue this narcissist journey that I'm doing right now. So guess what else? Let's see. So I worked for another giant corporation. I had mentioned this corporation before, but I'm not going to say who because I don't want someone to get upset and they decide to take my channel down because when I speak and only 7 people hear, it's a big deal. Okay, so anyway, I worked for this corporation, and they don't even do this anymore. I was the employee of the year, okay? And they don't even do that anymore. Yeah, so I used to have my picture up on the wall, the flipper of hamburgers, the greatest flipper of hamburgers that ever existed in that particular store, okay? So I'm just pounding my chest, bragging a little bit. Very few people ever got that award at that particular corporation. And we're talking, it's a huge one. Okay? So anyway, and then before that, guess what I did? I was self-employed. Yeah, I installed carpets in people's homes. Yep, that's what I did. I did that for 15 years. And you know how many times I had to fix and repair and actually pay for a screwed up job in those 15 years? How many claims have I had? How many claims did I have back in those days? 0. None. I paid for insurance. I paid, to be licensed and bonded and all this stuff, and I didn't have to pay a single claim because that's the kind of person I am. Okay? I'm currently working for particular companies, more than one, and I'm not going to say what they are because I don't trust anybody, and I'm not going to dare mention any names because I'm such an important individual in this world that they might strike down my video because I mentioned their name. But anyway, guess what? Perfect ratings. Perfect ratings, okay? I have to deal directly with the customers. The customers actually thumbs up and thumbs down, and guess what? I have about 6,500 interactions with the customer. Okay? Guess what my average rating is? Okay, on one platform, it's 5.0 out of 5.0. On the other one, it's 100% out of 100%. Okay? That's the kind of person I am. Okay? I'm not necessarily a perfectionist. I just understand service. Okay? But would anyone care about that? Nope, no one gives a shit, because if you're that good, you're a bad person.